Hello, welcome back everybody to episode 13 of the Progressive Democrats of Howard County podcast. We're here again for another 2 episodes of our mini-series on interviewing candidates from the HoCo4Us Slate for Democratic Central Committee in Howard County, which both myself and Hiruy are also part of. We are here with Slate members Mo Imran and Carla Tevelow, and we're going to be interviewing Carla Tevelow for part 1 here. But before we do that, how you feeling tonight, Hiruy?
Hey Jake, hi everybody. Welcome back to episode 13. Yeah, let's get started. This is going to be another good 2 interviews here.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, let's hop right into it. Without any further ado, thank you to Carla Tevelow for joining us. Carla, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good.
I'm feeling great too. I'm feeling great. Well, thank you again for being with us, for running, and just tell if you want to explain to the audience a little bit about yourself, who you are, your background, and why you decided to run for Democratic Central Committee.
Well, I've been in Howard County since 1984 for a long time, and I've been in and out, but I've always been involved in politics, whether mostly protesting, and I really enjoy doing that. It's one of because I like to show up because I know I can and other people can't. And for issues that I find very important. And I finally decided that it's time for me to take a little more, make a bigger commitment and work with the Democratic Central Committee. When I was asked, I decided, okay, I will do it. So
yeah, Carla, it's in the time that I've known you. You've been a reliable supporter of causes, progressive causes. Can you talk about a recent experience in terms of a cause that you supported, and your especially within Howard County, and what was your experience and what you learned from that?
Well, about 3 or 4 years ago, I was coming home from a flight, coming from Florida, and I was sitting next to this little kid, and his parents were on the flight, and he was screaming. And it was around the time where they were on the news. It was reported how kids were being taken away from their parents, immigrant children were being taken away from their parents, and I thought, this little kid is screaming. I can't imagine what a plane ride with all kids who didn't have their parents there would be like. And I felt like I had to do something. So I spoke with a friend of mine, and she said, well, Indivisible has this immigration action group. And I joined that committee, and we did a lot of things trying to make sure that Howard County treated immigrants respectfully, and we worked really hard to get the Liberty Act passed, and ICE made a lot of ICE out of Howard County, and we worked real hard at that. So during that time, I think COVID hit, I would stand on the corner of Broken Land Parkway and Little Patuxent, and had this gigantic sign that says "Liberty for all, ICE out of HoCo." And every Saturday I'd stand there for an hour, and people would drive by, and I'd wave. And sometimes I had a lot of people with me, sometimes not that many, but it was very consistent. And every time somebody would put a window down, I'd say, make sure you call Ball, because he can do something about it. And I would bird dog him wherever he went. When he was out in public and I knew he was going to be there, I'd take my sign and bird dog him. And that's that's how I met you two, I believe, because people in that group had told me about what was going on with this Columbia Democratic Committee. and how they were looking to help change the laws in our county and make sure that immigrants were treated with respect.
Yeah, no, and I certainly remember that battle, even though it was almost 2 years ago at this point. It still feels like yesterday to me, and that is I don't know about you and Hiruy, but definitely how you and I crossed paths was through that fight with the Howard County Immigration Coalition for Immigrant Justice. So thank you for everything you and that coalition did, and I'm glad that we did get the ICE contract canceled. But sort of a little bit related to that, but also not related. You were a big Bernie Sanders supporter, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what was it about Bernie and his campaign that really inspired you, or that you really liked him, and what would you like to see the Democratic Party sort of take from that, since you are running for the Democratic Central Committee?
What I really liked about Bernie, it was us, not me. And that's how I feel that all politics should be. It's not just one person's opinion or one person's influence. Well, one person can be influential, but it's a question of everybody working together. And that's what I loved about Bernie. And I've always been, I can't, since I've heard him since like in the early, I guess like in 2009, 10, he used to go on this podcast and radio and talk. He's been really inspiring to me, and he's got a lot of energy, and he's been around a long time. And I'd like to see a lot of his philosophy and his ideas come to fruition, because it would be good. I think it would be good for everybody, and not just one person or not just the elite. Yeah, for everyone.
Yeah,
and that's what I like, and that's what I like about what we're running, and we're running for those same kind of things. We're as the Democratic Central, our slate, HoCo4Us, right? We're looking for economic and racial and social justice, and I think that it just hits me really well, and in my heart, and how I feel about things.
I totally agree with what you just said, especially everything about in terms of Bernie Sanders, and his consistency, with and what he stands for, and it sort of relates to what you just said, about your consistency in terms of standing there on Broken Land Parkway with a sign, on a regular basis, to get something done, bird dogging the county executive wherever he goes, which I think is, what's lacking in Howard County, and from the Central Committee. If as you may already know this, that there were activists who approached the Central Committee and talked to them about the ICE contract, for example, and what happened was that really nothing happened. They didn't do anything.
Right.
If you were in the Central Committee, would you what would you have done if someone reached out to you in the Central Committee and talked to the group, and the prevailing idea was to do nothing?
I think I would try to take people on the side and ask them why they felt that way, and if there's anything that would convince them to change their mind. Because I think, when you boil everything down, it's just respecting people. And I think everybody understands that as a common theme throughout our lives, right? I mean, if you're not going to respect people, then maybe I don't want to be friends with you. you know, and I think everybody's looking for some kind of respect, and I think that's all part of how we treat other people. And if we say that we're immigrants, if we say that we're a country that is open to helping other people, and I think we need to show it. I don't think we should just talk about it. It's something that we need to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you know, unfortunately, when our elected officials prioritize profits and who's donating to them, yes, suddenly respect sort of falls to the bottom of the priority list. But I don't know how many, if we only have time for this one last question, but I'm curious, you say that you've been involved in politics to one degree or another for a long time now, many years. And, you know, so I'm curious, and you also mentioned that you really like protesting. So I'm curious, what was it that first got you sort of civically engaged? Did you come from a family that was really into it? And you say that you came here to Howard County in 1985. Were you, you know, even engaged back from before when you came to Howard County, or did that not start till after Howard County? And also, do you have any wild protest, Carla Tevelow protest stories? Have you ever gotten arrested or anything crazy like that?
No, I've never gotten arrested, but I did go to see Jane Fonda get arrested several times. I went down. She was going I think she was going every week down for climate action. I would go and support. I never got arrested. I was going to, though, about 6-7 years ago with Naomi Klein. They were all going to stand, but my daughter had to go to Florida, so I missed it. It was a certain week. But I think it was the times that I grew up in and the culture that I was in. And because I grew up like when women's lib started really hitting the culture, as well as the Vietnam War. There were all those protests, and I really thought I was a little young, but I saw it, and I saw it as a great way to make an impact in the world, not in the world, in the country, and where I lived. And I remember going down and I did abortion protests, and so there have been so many issues throughout my life that I think that are really important for everybody, so that they have a way to feel empowered.
Yeah, that's that I feel like, yeah, it might be a similar story with other people in your same age range. And you know, you list a lot of those issues, and some of them I'm like, yeah, we've made a lot of progress on them. And other issues I'm like, we're still fighting that.
Right. That was one of my favorite signs down at the protest, the women's protest recently. I'm still fighting this. It's been it's 50 years, right? And we're still fighting the same fight. It's really sad, but sometimes you feel like you take 3 steps forward and 2 steps back.
Well, respect to you for, you know, being there, you know, like Bernie, though not as long as Bernie, but, you know, thank you for, you know, fighting the long fight, fighting the good fight, and not giving up even in times where it can be very discouraging and it feels like, you know, progress isn't being made. But thank you so much, Carla. I think that's all the time for questions that we have with you. But thank you, Carla.
Can I say one more thing? That
Yeah.
I really think our slate is good. It's really nice and it's diverse, and I really think we have a powerful message to include the citizens of this county and listen to what they have to say. So I'm excited to be on the slate.
Absolutely. And proud to have you a member of the slate. And we're running on a strong grassroots message, rejecting any sort of corporate or developer money. We've taken the no developer, no dark money campaign pledge. So if you like what you heard from Carla, myself, and Hiruy tonight, please check out the HoCo4Us Slate, www.HoCo4Us HoCo4Us.com. That is the number 4 HoCo4Us.com.